90% of the patients have halitosis due to poor oral hygiene or due to the oral cavity. And rest of the percentage is probably due to systemic problem, etc. So, if there is halitosis, it indicates that number one, either the patient is not maintaining their health, or there is some precancerous condition, or there is some problem inside the oral cavity, which a dentist is the first one to identify. Because you ask the patient to open the mouth and you keep it into the mouth and you smell it and you get an idea at what the problem could be. So, origin of halitosis is 90% in the oral cavity, already mentioned. For diagnosis, how do you check? Number one, you can check by yourself, by smelling it, or there are certain instruments which are known as alligators. So, alligators can also be used for checking halitosis. So, another slide will explain that kidney disease, smoking, kidney disease. So, suppose we are on a diet, आजकल वो GM diet करने समय. Suppose somebody is on a GM diet, so low carb diet, that these healthy things, food and drinks from time, etc. These are all responsible for halitosis. Tobacco use. Another important thing which we need to understand is smoking tobacco and smokeless tobacco. Smoking tobacco means cigarettes, and smokeless means tobacco which we can chew, we can eat. There's so many brands. So due all these problems, tobacco or all these come into deleterious habits, they contribute to poor oral health. So our aim is to stop these habits by various means. You know that there are so many brands which NRTs, nicotine replacement therapy is there. So there are so many brands which replace nicotine. So try to prescribe them to your patients, and smoking tobacco and smokeless tobacco has to be stopped. Especially in India, people have a lot of craze of tobacco, and that our roads and the places they justify, because you get to palm peaks all over the place. So avoid tobacco. Why? Because tobacco, what happens is tobacco gives you a kick, I know, but it prevents that symptoms to occur in the oral cavity. Suppose somebody has a breathing problem, or somebody has some other problem. Tobacco is like a sedative which prevents that manifestation to come into the oral cavity. So stop tobacco. How tobacco can affect is again bad breath, staining, lung disease, cancer. Another important is social stigma also. Once you're having a lot of tobacco, if you try to hide your teeth once you want to go in front of people. So and oral cancer is something. It is a silent disease. Tobacco has so many components. Once you study tobacco in details, that the oral cancer is once it occurs in the oral cavity. So there is no turning back. Then the countdown begins. So it is better to avoid these problems, better to educate your family or people around you or our population that stop tobacco. Why? Because if they might say, let the symptoms come, because once the symptoms come, there is no turning back. The countdown begins. So avoid tobacco. So what is the role of periodontists? I will say the role of the role of periodontists is one of the major. He or she, they are one of the most important branch or most important doctors. Why? They will incorporate this. It tells you that scaling, flap, regeneration. These are one of the major chunks. But there are so many aspects to it which is practically impossible to explain you. But yes, a periodontist has a major role in avoiding so many dental problems, and rather I told you, periodontology forms the basis of all branches. That's what. Plaque control, though you might think that plaque control is not a big deal, but plaque control is very, very good. And how do you do plaque control? Number one, why do you do plaque control is because plaque is microbial. It is the basis of all problems. Majority of them. not all, majority of the problem. Now, how do you avoid plaque control this? By mechanical brushing. Use of soft brush vertically or horizontally. In case the patient is not able to brush, somebody can use a powerful brush. So the powerful toothbrush is not the first line to be prescribed. We can always use a mechanical hand brush, but not a powerful toothbrush for people who are bedridden. Or suppose powerful toothbrush cannot be used, then chemical means like mouthwashes can be used. Fluorexidine is the most popular. Another important point to be kept into the consideration is at times the food gets stuck in between the teeth. How do you do that? Interdental brush is the key of management and floss. Though at times floss might be tough, so interdental brush can also, depending on the embrasure size, type 1, type 2, you already know about it, but still it all depends on the embrasure size, how much space there is right in between the teeth. So interdental brush with rubber tips, dental floss, and all these can be used for cleaning the food which is stuck right in between the teeth. Another very important thing is oral irrigators. The concept of oral irrigator is it's a small machine, kind of a brush, and that gives pulsatile water. And that pulsatile water goes right in between the teeth and it dislodges the food where a brush cannot go. So oral irrigators are they play a very important role in maintaining the oral hygiene. So oral irrigators are very common these days, and you can find it online also. So that's tongue cleaning, especially with the metallic tongue cleaner, especially with the plastic tongue cleaner, not with the metallic tongue cleaner. Flosser, water flosser, soft brushes, and toothpicks. You can do flossing. Be careful. Why? Because if you use the thread, don't overdo it. Because if you overdo it, it will lacerate the teeth, which is a very problem. Various techniques. We're not going into details of all the techniques. Chemical plaque control is not the primary source of plaque control. So, mechanical plaque control is the primary way to control plaque, and chemical plaque control is an adjunct. You should not tell me that I don't brush, I just use a mouthwash. No, it doesn't make sense. Why? Because you should understand using a mouthwash for too long causes mouth stains. So and it doesn't work properly that way. So mechanical plaque control is the basis, and yes, this chlorhexidine is one of the most used product, and always use an alcohol-free mouthwash. No alcohol. I remember one of the families, they was telling me that we use a certain brand. I don't want to name the brand, which contains alcohol, and my entire family uses that mouthwash. The kids would love it that much. I said, my dear, it has alcohol. If you give it to me, I will also love it. So don't use alcohol. It has a lot of problems. Why periodontal health is crucial for other dental treatment modalities? I told you why, because perio is the base of all branches. So perio comes first in your studies and in your PG admissions also. So there are so many procedures which are done in perio: crown lengthening procedures, canine exposures, tonectomy, orthoplectomy, implants, perioplastic surgery, so many. But once I start naming them, there are so many. So, and motivation also is a part of perio. So, frenectomies and etc. So, you have to incorporate proper perio for maintenance of oral health. Okay. Another problem which is very, very common is dentinal hypersensitivity. Why dentinal hypersensitivity is so important is because after a thorough oral prophylaxis, scaling, root dentinal hypersensitivity is the most common problem which comes into. And what happens? Everybody remembers the certain toothpaste which comes into that. Don't do that. Always understand what the etiology is. Identify the problem and treat it accordingly. You being a specialist, you should understand, is it the faulty brushing habit which is responsible for survival of the patient? Are they responsible for the problem? Is it a caries? Is it a faulty respiration? Or is it something different? Or is it a habit of the patient which he or she cannot correct and try to correct that? So understand what the problem is. And another problem these days is everybody has a lot of stress. And stress se hota kya hai? There's a lot of acidic regurgitation, acidity. And that acid comes into our mouth and it erodes all the teeth. And thus the teeth become fat. So have a broad vision. So you might say that, right, I'm prescribing you proton pump inhibitors. Somebody might laugh at you. Oh, he's a dentist, how is it? But proton pump inhibitors, once prescribed, will reduce the acidity and thus in turn reduce the retinal hypertension. So you have to have an open mind. Management, if I talk management of retinal hypersensitivity, one angle is घर पे क्या कर सकते हैं, home care. The second angle is what we can do in the office. So let's talk about home care. We can use the desensitizing paste, desensitizing mouthwashes, and herbal agents are there. These are the options available in the market, right? And what happens is these toothpaste, if the nerve is open, it will cause nerve desensitization. So and the other toothpaste might promote protein concentration. Remember one thing: why there is sensitivity is somewhere the vitamin is there. So our aim is, if I use a desensitizer, so it will be transient. Like I give you an example: if I have a thorn in my leg and I take a painkiller, it doesn't make sense because the thorn is still there. So I have to remove the thorn. Similarly, if my tubules are open, it doesn't make sense. I take a desensitizing toothpaste. It is better to take something or incorporate something in which the vitamin is can be produced. So ऐसा toothpaste इस्तेमाल करें जिससे either there can be protein precipitation and those vitamin can be closed, or we can. There are so many ways we can use. We can apply bonding agents. We can apply. There are certain agents which are desensitizing agents, or we can use lasers also. Lasers, hard tissue lasers, they really help in to control retinal hypersensitivity. So I told you resins, bonding agents, we can do restorations, and most important is remove the etiology. Suppose you do everything and the patient says, I will always use a hard brush and it doesn't make sense. So educate the patient. Why? Because he or she has to incorporate these things. And this is what you can do. Fluoride rinses, oxalates, etc. etc. Hard tissue rinses. And recall maintenance is very important. I've already mentioned. C's, control and change. So these are the 3 C's which are important for management. C's means rogo. Stop the active problem. Control means a continue means periodic recall and maintenance. And change means change management approach. Switch from home care to office care. So call the patient every 6 months, 8 months, depending on the problem. Aesthetic microgynetic procedures like depigmentation. So this is only one example. Perio deals with so many procedures, so it's not possible to tell you all. But yes, this is one of the procedures which we do is depigmentation, especially the young men and ladies they get it before their marriage. So, if you remember, most of the people must have told you that your mouth is the mirror for health and well-being. Why? There are so many systemic problems which a dentist can identify. Let's see. Right? So, don't interpret it in the wrong way. Don't tell people that periodontitis causes respiratory infections. Periodontitis causes that. It doesn't cause, but it aggravates. Let's understand in a broader way. I told you microbial plaque or bacteria are responsible for majority of the diseases. So this bacteria leads to inflammation, which causes periodontitis. So there is so much of bacteria and there is so much infection in our oral cavity that bacteria will become systemic. Why? Because it will go into the blood and it will aggravate all these problems. A very layman example. Suppose I don't have periodontitis. I am taking 2 units of insulin. A very layman example. But if I have periodontitis, I might be taking 8 units. Right? That means periodontitis, it complicates the problem. It aggravates the problem. So periodontitis should be eradicated, should be removed. Why? Because these periodontal problems will actually aggravate respiratory problems. It will cause severe osteopenia, especially in the post-menopause females. Preterm low birth weight. Why? Because these bacteria, they go and in cases of pregnancy, it causes preterm. Means समय से पहले low birth weight means suppose the gestation period is 9 months. But if the labor pain gets induced due to these oral bacteria at 8 months, there will be a preterm समय से पहले low birth. So the weight of the offspring will be less. So it leads to mortality. Though it might be a very small thing for you, but it is a very big thing for the mother who loses her baby at 7 to 8 months. Why? Because she never knew that if I have periodontitis, periodontitis can actually cause this problem. So awareness is something very, very important. It might aggravate stroke. It doesn't cause stroke, but it aggravates stroke, heart diseases, and uncontrolled diabetes. So diabetes is something which is actually very, very important. I have been trying to explain these things only. Bacteria causes biofilm, causes gingivitis and periodontitis, and causes all these. Right. If you understand, it says diabetes and periodontitis, they are a two-way sword. This is wrongly written. Two-way sword. Why? Because they are interrelated, and periodontal disease is the sixth complication associated with diabetes. So remember, we are related. And the most common disease, systemic disease, is diabetes. Why? Because of so many genetic reasons, probably sedentary lifestyle, etc. So you have to understand as specialists, since there's so many people who have diabetes, you have to tell them that oral hygiene is a must. So suppose you are a practitioner and you go to that maybe 20 million people who have diabetes to tell them oral hygiene is a must, they all will come and get to tell you. So, but that awareness is a must. That message is a must. This tells us about the future, that in future we might, and rather it is there today also, but in future there might be more portable kits in which you can just take a GCF sample and tell you that we can diagnose diabetes and blood sugar. So this is more advanced. So there are certain findings, there are certain things which have management of periodontal disease with diabetes. There are certain guidelines. And these guidelines, they say that diabetes and periodontal disease are bidirectional. Knowledge about this is a must, and management of such problems should be taken as soon as possible. And how do you check? Presence of oral signs and destructive periodontal disease, inconsistency in the local factors, suppuration, pus formation, multiple abscesses, halitosis, candida, etc. So all these are, you have to have a knowledge. Because what the eye sees, what the mind knows, the eye sees. Already mentioned that periodontitis doesn't cause cardiovascular problems; it aggravates the cardiovascular problems. It promotes more of arteriosclerosis. Stress is something really important. In today's life, everybody has stress. Why? Because everybody has certain targets in life. Believe me, if you are in stress and I ask you to do something, you might just not understand. Right? And that is what the body does. In cases of stress, we are not able to cope up, and problems like periodontal disease they come up. So stress causes these all problems. And if periodontal disease progression and poor treatment response is responsible, it happens in cases of stress. So stress management is good. So how do you manage stress? Patient comes to you. And if you know that you're going to put an injection, how do you manage stress? We've already discussed it. How do you manage stress? Relieve the anxiety. Don't dance in front of the patient. How do you manage stress? Is put a good music, give painless injections, give let the patient be happy, talk to him politely, don't scold the patient, and just then. And so there's so many things which can reduce stress. So the overall environment is very, very important. Something you have somebody shouting right beside you, and it will increase the stress. So reduce the stress, which is very, very important. Dry mouth, what happens? Saliva has certain substances which prevent the bacterial progression. So dysnomia, dry mouth can have a profound impact on overall health, and it can lead to bad breath, increased risk of caries, mouth infections, difficulty in talking, swallowing, and thus it might lead to so many problems. So, like gingivitis, peritonitis, caries, etc. So, saliva should be there in the mouth, dry mouth should be avoided. Treatment क्या कर सकते हैं? We can give salivary substitutes, or we can trigger the salivary glands by giving certain medicines so that they form more saliva. So, mucosal lubricants, salivary substitutes, and saliva stimulants. You as a specialist should also understand that pregnancy is a physiological condition, and in that you might have pregnancy, gingivitis, so many small oral complications which are transient, which will settle down by themselves. So don't jump into treatment, but in case there are females who are planning to get pregnant, tell them that this is what it is important. Oral hygiene maintenance is very, very important. Why? Because during pregnancy, especially after pregnancy, it's a tough time to maintain the oral hygiene. Right. The effect of oral health was halitosis, as we've already discussed in diet. So, finally, to conclude is perio is the baseline for all branches of dentistry. Periodontitis is a multifactorial infection whose pathogenesis depends on the complicated interaction between the host, immune response, and the periodontal pathogens. A dental specialist, we care about your general or oral health. Maintenance of good periodontal health is vital for oral hygiene. Oral health cannot be achieved without periodontal health. Periodontists help you to achieve oral health, thereby helping you to remain healthy. So, the role of periodontist and you as a dental specialist is very, very important. Why? Because awareness is the key to success. If you know, the patient, and if the patients know, they will get the treatment done, and the dental fraternity will grow like that, and they will understand your importance, right? Because they have to understand. The today's trend is people at the outset, they don't have an importance of it. But now, I am also seeing, and you must be seeing that dentists are gaining a reputable position in this. And that is what our aim is, and that is why we are celebrating these days. Thank you. Any questions? Attendance. Who's this here? Any questions? Everybody understood, I guess. Then it's my turn to ask. Okay. Should I do cancel?